Hey y'all, today on the farm, it is finally time to get with it. We're gonna let that tractor warm up a little bit. It hadn't ran in a while. I changed the oil in it about a month ago and it hadn't ran since then. Just been sitting there. We've had some super cool mornings, down around 17 the last few mornings. Of course, it's like 60 degrees today and it was 17 yesterday. But anyway, we're gonna let that thing warm up a little bit before we start moving it around. Y'all hadn't seen me on here much, but I have been busy here lately. You know, I haven't been filming and putting out a lot of content. I did a full resto on this subsoiler. I hadn't got my coulters on the front yet, but I did sandblast it and paint it. But now we're supposed to drop this subsoiler and hook to the Krause disc. I got to get some corn stalks incorporated into the ground good ahead of this rain, so I can then come back with the subsoiler and rip that field that we're going to put peanuts in next year before I bottom plow it. Peanuts require a lot of cultivation typically. Now, you may say there's a farmer in your area that does it differently, but in this area with the red clay that we farm in, peanuts require a lot of cultivation, some deep cultivation, because you got to be able to pull those nuts back out of the ground. Peanuts grow under the ground, and if you plant them in a no-till situation, a lot of times you can't lift them back out. And also with the bottom plow, the flipping of the ground, it cuts down on nematode pressure, as well with other things. We can suppress weeds that way. So we do a lot of cultivation when it comes to peanuts, and it all begins today. There is a lot to go over when you get a disc out. This particular disc has 20 hanger bearings and then 4 fittings here where it folds at, another 8 or 6 wheel bearings, 1, 2, 3, 6 wheel bearings, and then another 2, 4, 6 where the wheels pivot at. A lot of bearings got to look at, and then you also got to check the gains. Got to make sure there's no play. These discs don't spin separately or have any shake in them. You got to make sure that the gains are tightened up. A lot to go over when you first get a disc out. a disc harrow, you normally have a turnbuckle on the front. Some of them may have hydraulic tilt, but this one has a turnbuckle here. You can turn this and it will lean the harrow to the front more, or you can lengthen that turnbuckle and it'll lean the harrow to the back more. Puts either more pressure on the front set of gains, or more pressure on the back set. Tilts the harrow forward and backwards. That adjustment, along with ground speed, determines how smooth you leave it behind your disc. If you're going too fast or too slow, or have your hair dug in to the front too much, if you don't have that set right, you can leave a valley right here in the middle and be throwing a lot of dirt to the outside, so that where your wings are be humped up and it'd be a valley here in the middle. Also, if you don't have it dialed in just right, you could be leaving a hump here, a ridge down the center, and leaving a hole out there on the outside. So it's important to match ground speed with the hair setment, to get it set right and match it to your ground speed, everything dialed in just right. It all has to work together. And if you do that, it will leave it pretty flat. This disc is doing a great job out here today. It's really digging in. I got buried to the axles, but it's leaving it super flat. And I'm able to achieve that at around 5 to 5.5 miles an hour. The tractor's got way more power than that. This tractor pulled this hair 10 miles an hour, but it'll look like an ocean out here when I'm done. So I'm crawling along around 5, 5.5, but it's doing a really good job. All this has been on the ground since we harvested this corn. I cut it in right after the corn harvest on part of the field where it was a lot more clay. Went ahead and got some of the stuff incorporated, but this back part of the field is a lot lighter soil, a little sandier. I've left all these cobs and husks and shucks on the ground here, keep the ground covered up all during the late fall and early winter. But now that's getting time to get ready for peanuts. We gotta get all this stuff incorporated and get it started decomposing inside the ground. The goal is to keep the ground covered as much as possible. So I left this stuff out here a pretty good long time, actually kind of cutting it close with the amount of material out here that I have and the amount of time I have for it to decompose. But I didn't want to disc this field up back in August and then it wind blow and rain and all my topsoil leave here. I left all this cover out here all throughout the fall so that it would hold my soil down. And now we got to get it decomposed, get it into the ground where it will rot a little better. And I got to do that because the subsoiling and the bottom plowing, if I come out here with those machines and go through this material, it'll make a royal mess. So we got to get it all incorporated so we can continue with the land prep for the peanuts. This is the official start for the on the farm for me this year, in the videos and all the progress in growing the crops. Last year, y'all quadrupled the size of this channel. My followers, my subs went from 1,000 on January 1st to 4,000 and change on December 31st. So, man, I appreciate everybody for watching. This isn't the biggest farm channel on the internet, but this ain't the biggest farm either. Small farm, just one man out here working. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. My goal is to try to show you what farmers are doing, why they're doing it, and how they're doing it. That's all it is, just a little bit of education. I thank all y'all for watching. I hope to see you next time.